welcome to my channel. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. Lately, there has been a rise of black men going overseas to look for love. Some of them call themselves the passport bros on YouTube. There has been a big rise of black men going overseas. Now, it's your life. Feel free to do as you please. There's no do-overs, so if you want to go overseas to look for love, feel free to do so. Just do not be naive and think just because she is a foreigner that she won't do you any dirty, and just be safe and careful. However, a lot of people think the main reason why is because of them not finding feminine women in America that want to cook, clean, allow men to lead, and be submissive. Sure, that is true to an extent, but let's not pretend that there aren't women in America that want to do that and want to do it for the right guy too. The thing is, finding a woman like this isn't easy and can sometimes feel like finding a needle in a haystack. But still, there's still plenty of men out there, especially black men, that are still getting into relationships and marriages every day. So there are good women out there in America. It just may not be easy to find. But today I want to talk about one of the biggest reasons why those guys feel the need to go overseas. The main reason why is because they don't even get the opportunity to get their foot in the door in the first place. See, with the rise of social media and over the years, women's standards have gone up, which there's nothing wrong. You're allowed to have standards, but there's no denying it has gotten out of hand. Of course, not all women are like this, so if it doesn't apply to you, let it fly. But there's no denying the standards have gone through the roof to the point that the average guy can't even come close to meeting. Things have gotten so out of hand that a lot of guys will automatically get crossed off the list and not get their foot into the door for things such as not turning up enough. Those guys who aren't about the nightlife, maybe studying, focusing on improving themselves, they probably working. The ones that are more low-key, which doesn't necessarily mean they're boring or non-adventurous and are not spontaneous, but they're just not out there in the limelight. They're not doing TikTok dances, they're not running the streets. For a lot of women, unfortunately, with social media too, they come off as boring, not as spontaneous enough, not fun enough. Also, another superficial reason is because their Instagram is not lit enough. Yes, believe it or not, especially when it comes to younger women, they would rather exchange Instagrams instead of exchanging phone numbers. So your Instagram becomes your resume. If you don't have a Facebook, you don't have a TikTok, you don't have a Snapchat, you don't have an Instagram, for some women, and a lot of them, especially the younger ones, you come off as a turnoff. Some will even ask you straight up, how come you don't have no social media? And even if you do have one, if it's not lit enough, pictures of you traveling, out with friends at the hottest spots, living the lime life, showing off your purchases, your hobbies, it will come off as boring. And that will also get you crossed off the list. Believe it or not, there are a lot of women out there that do value social media a lot and use it as a deciding factor when it comes to choosing a mate. I mean, why else do you think those guys who are scammers, who are Instagram rich, they're able to finesse so many women? It's so crazy that even having a low follow count can come off as a turnoff. Like if you only have 50 people following you, for some women, they will write you off because of that. I know it makes no sense, but trust me, it happens a lot. Another reason, you have guys being checked off automatically because they are not tall enough. It's so bad you got some women who are 5'2" and demand any guy to be at least 6 foot and up. Anything less is a turnoff. Even if a guy is 5'8", and with him being 5'8", he still is taller than her at 5'2", she will brush him off because he's not tall enough. You'll also have guys out there that will get crossed off because they do not make 6 figures. Less than 10% of Americans even make 6 figures, and the average median income for black men was around $46K, and the ones who make the most are usually in their 40s and up. As guys, especially black men, as they get older, they make more money. The ones that make the most tend to be at the ages of 40 and up. I mean, of course, there's rare exceptions, but it's not common to meet a guy, especially a black guy, making over 6 figures. On top of that, for him to also not only make 6 figures, but also be tall, be attractive, not a square, has a charming personality, dresses nice, smells nice, there are slim pickings from those type of men available. And unfortunately, guys who don't make that much, a lot of times they get automatically crossed off the list. We even saw on shows like Kevin Samuels, Kendra G, that for some women, guys who make lower six figures like 100,000, 150,000 isn't enough. They want a guy to make at least 300,000 and up, preferably make millions. What's worse about this is that life is a marathon, not a sprint. Just because a guy isn't making six figures right now doesn't mean he won't make it in a couple years. And that brings me to my next point. You have a lot of women these days that do not want to build with a guy. They consider it struggle love. They want a guy that's already at the finish line, that already has it made, and they don't want to work towards building it together. Being a ride or die is no longer attractive. This causes a lot of guys, especially the younger guys, to get automatically crossed off the list. Because at the end of the day, it's not about where you start off the race, it's where you end it, alright? As you can see, as black men get older, guys in general, as they get older, their income increases even more. You have a lot of women that will cross them off automatically just because they are not yet at six figures. Or maybe they're at 50,000 right now. They're not at 60,000. They're not at 70,000. It's not enough for them. So you'll have a lot of women that are automatically cross them off and not seeing the long-term vision that this guy in a few years will be at that six figures. As long as he's ambitious, he has the right head on his shoulders. I could go on and on about the different superficial standards that have gone too high, that has gone out of hand, and that has caused a lot of guys to automatically get crossed off the list and force them to go overseas. But the point is, there's nothing wrong with a woman having standards, but we have to be fair, we have to be realistic. It has gotten very much out of hand these days. And a lot of guys, unfortunately, they automatically do not qualify. They can't even get their foot inside the door. Not just for a relationship, just for a date alone, just to get a girl to talk to them. A lot of guys can't even get that because they don't meet those superficial requirements. So what is a guy to do? A lot of them, they don't want to just spend their entire life alone. What do? They grab their passport and do the next best option, which is to go overseas, where their $20 can take them very far, and they won't automatically get disqualified for not meeting unrealistic standards. So guys, let me know what you think, and with that being said, I am out.